All right, pitch letters. What do you pitch in a pitch letter? They're a feature story that you're not actually writing yourself. So human interests about a person, people, or pets, anything with an emotional connection. Um, Anything that's a good organizational story, and anything offering an interview, an inside scoop. Um, all of the pets that have been saved in the forest fires in California, that would be a good human interest story. Humans of New York, pitching any one of those stories for a full feature is an interesting thing to pitch. Origin stories about organizations like Tom's Shoes, pitching in the early days of Tom's Shoes and how they came to be and why they do the one-for-one donation. That might be a good origin story for an organization. Or offering an inside scoop. I've recently been seeing commercials for an inside scoop to the Lorena Bobbitt incident from the 80s. So those would all be stories that could be pitched. Who do you pitch? You pitch to a specific person who writes on that topic. Find a specific person in a newspaper, magazine, radio station, TV, blog, etc. Make your interest match their interests. You want this to be interesting enough that they'll come and either write about your story or come and do a video segment on your story. The more personalized the pitch is, the more likely you are to get a response. You really have to give them the what's in it for them. You're going to make their life easier by offering access to quotes, offering to give them photographs. You also only want to send a pitch to one person. You might put a time frame on that, like we need to know if you're interested within the next week, but you don't want to pitch to multiple people at one time, especially if you're offering a exclusive. Maybe you're having an event and you want to pitch to a couple local television stations and see who shows up. That might be more relevant to send out more than one pitch, but most often you're going to try and find the one person that you want to send it to. Make it easy. A pitch is short. Get to the point quickly. Let them know what that story is about and why they should want to cover it. You're going to do just the facts and make it interesting. And what resources can you offer? Can you give them information, access to people or organizations, like I said, access to photographs, offering up quotes, or offering full unrestricted access to someone or something? So it's going to be sent in an email. You need a good subject line. Think of the subject line as a great headline, but you want to draw the people in and get them to open it. It should be short. Get to the point quickly in a pitch letter. Give a specific time when you will follow up, and thank them for their time and consideration. So, some ways you can optimize emails, not just for sending out pitches, but something that you can do in all of your emails to get people more likely to respond. Write like a third grader. Emails written to a third grade reading level have the highest response rate. So make it easy, make it quick. People want to skim their emails and move on. They don't want to have to try and work really hard to figure out what it is that you're saying. So some tips. Think about who is your audience. Use simple words. Avoid being superfluous, superabundant personage. Yeah, just avoid big words. Less words per sentence. Skip compound sentences. They complicate things and make your reader think too much. But they sure are fun to write. Get emotional in your email. Even a slightly negative email is more likely to elicit a response than a completely neutral email. But a lot of cases, what you're going to want to do is try and be more positive. So what does that mean? Using words like thrilled to be contacting you. Would love it if you would come out and cover our story. Some positive and negative. Great, wonderful, delighted, pleased. Negative, bad, hate, furious, terrible. Which of these do you think works best? Hey, I was thinking about you earlier. Do you want to get pizza? Hey, it would be absolutely wonderful to see you. Do you want to get pizza? I'm so excited. Hey, I definitely like to get together next week. Do you want pizza? Hey, it would be really great to see you and catch up. Do you want pizza? So the best one of that would be D. Just enough emotion, it'd be really great to see you and catch up, and then asking for something. Here's some more. I had a less than optimal experience at your store today. The clerk wasn't very nice. Could you please consider my feedback? I had an awful experience at your store today. The clerk was very rude. Please do something to make it right. I had a worst experience at your store earlier today. The clerk was rude and patronizing. I will never come back. Your store experience sucks. Your clerk is a douchebag. Piss off, and I hope you die in agony. So the best one is actually the first one. A less than optimal experience. The clerk wasn't very nice. Could you please consider my feedback? It's that asking for a question that really helps draw it in. The second one is also great. I had an awful experience. You're using slightly more emotion. The clerk was very rude. You told him what you didn't like. Please do something to make it right. Making a request on how they could do something right. So short and simple. About 75 to 100 words, you'll get the most likely to have people respond. 50 words still isn't bad. Again, thinking about the situation, what you're asking for, and how much information you need for that. Subject lines. 3 to 4 words in a subject line is actually the optimal to get somebody to respond back. And in the body, having 1 to 3 questions really does prompt somebody to respond back. So what are maybe some questions you could put into a pitch letter that might get somebody to actually respond, whether it's yes or no? And don't use just the facts. Being completely objective in your emails isn't going to get you the highest response rate. You can increase response rate by being slightly objective. And proofread. 1 typo in the subject line decreases response rates by 15%. Monday is also the day with the most errors in emails. And the biggest error, improper capitalization. Again, in an email subject line, either capitalize the first letter of every word or just capitalize the first word and make sure all of the rest of them are lowercase unless it's a proper noun. So, the worst day of the week, emails by Positivity, Monday. It's our most negative day. But a reminder, negative messages don't always hurt response rates. Use the right amount of good cheer or grumpiness to get people to respond. And the most effective email closings, thanks in advance. Thanks, thank you, cheers, kind regards. And then down at the bottom, one of the worst email closings is best. So in summary, use shorter sentences and simpler words. A 3rd grade reading level works best. Include 1 to 3 questions in your email. Make sure you include a subject line. Aim for 3 to 4 words. Use a positive tone or a slightly negative tone. Both outperform a completely neutral tone. Take a stand. Opinionated messages see higher response rates than objective ones. Write enough, but not too much. Try to keep messages between 50 and 125 words in emails. Your pitch letters are probably going to be a bit longer than that. And proofread. End the email with gratitude. Thanks in advance. Or thanks for your time and consideration.